Hey everybody, the world is full of douchebags. I mean, but that goes without saying. I mean, we're human beings. It's not like everybody can be highly capable of everything, or highly intelligent, or highly strong, whatever it might be. But everybody has their own version of what it means to be strong. And when I say be a man, that's the only perspective I have because I'm a man. So naturally, that's what I'll talk about. It doesn't discount the woman's journey by any means. It's just this is, my personal thought on the people that I encounter and how it's easy to just think people suck. But it's just because those negatives stand out. They're impressed upon our minds. That one jerk thing somebody said during the day. But everybody else going about their business, we generally ignore it and just say, okay, well, that's just normal life. But the assholes do not, in any way, shape, or form, determine the whole of society, right? But they do, to an extent, because often the biggest jerks, the biggest douchebags are the ones who act like they're owed the most, the ones who feel entitled, the ones who always expect everybody to do things their way, I guess. Control freaks, things like that. But also people who suffer from Dunning-Kruger effect, which is the curve of, basically it's pretty simple. The dumber you are, the smarter you think you are. It's the less you know, the more you think you know. And I guess that could go back to the old Descartes saying the greatest, or maybe, no, doesn't matter. I'm not going to get into fucking stupid quotes, but at any rate, it was Socrates, I believe, that said, the greatest wisdom lies in knowing you know nothing. And really that just meant that, the more knowledge we gain about real life and the real world and people around us, the more we realize, wow, we were incorrect about a lot of the assumptions we had about other people and how they think. And so in today's world where we're exposed to all sorts of different people through the internet and where we have the opportunity to really get to know people, we're pushing away further and deciding we'd rather just have our own perspective and keep our own perspective instead of trying to understand one another. But, people are interesting. I guess that's a nice way of putting it. What I'd like to say is do we have high expectations that people should be doing anything better? I guess that's what I really wanted to come to in this video. The conclusion or the discussion I wanted to have was not whether there are shitty people in the world, but because there are plenty of them. But the question is, and this is regardless of why they're shitty people. Perhaps their upbringing, perhaps they were taught that money is all that matters, and maybe it is all that matters. Maybe maybe my perspective is totally skewed, and the businessman who stomps all over everybody else to get as much money as possible, maybe he's the smart one, But when I look at nature, I think, no. In the natural world, animals don't do that. Sure, you can be a greedy squirrel, but the more nuts you have, the more you have to go collect, and the more your neighbor will just steal some from you. It's one of those things. Everything balances out in its own right. But in this society, we have these protective measures to protect the people who have mass accumulated wealth. They're protected by law, by weapons. They have built these giant, protective measures to hoard their wealth. But it's not just about physical money. It's about the power people have over others. About the slumlords that rent out shitty apartments and refuse to fix a sink. Or, the people that think it's okay to treat people like shit just because they are of a lower class in their mind. And it's cringeworthy, It's really disturbing. It makes me sometimes just shake my head in disgust and say, you know what? Fuck all these people. I'm going to go off and live in a cabin. But then I get rays of hope through there. People who are aware, who are intelligent, who are caring, kind, compassionate. And I think maybe this is the default mode of humans. What is it? Cooperation is one of those root factors of all animals in order to get along. I shouldn't say all animals. There are plenty of solitary animals, then there are cooperating groups. We are a group animal, regardless of whether we like it or not. And so living a solitary life is only possible because of hard work, or because the system allows us to, siphon materials off of it. Being one person, growing your own food, harvesting your own corn, slaughtering your own animals, whatever you do, these things take a huge toll on a person. And sure, you can eke out a meager existence doing that, but my point is that cooperation brings more to the table for all of us. And we've reached a point in history where people feel like it's okay to just stop cooperating. Up until the Industrial Revolution, cooperation was a major component of growing our country and our world. Societies all around the world had used cooperation to build amazing structures, amazing cities. And then we hit this point where, okay, we're a capitalist society now. You've got to go out and make your money, and if you get tread on, if the system doesn't take care of you, if you can't get health insurance, any of these things, it's just your problem for not working hard enough. And I know I mentioned this previously in the last video, but it's important because there are people who make individual decisions that will affect other people's lives in a negative way. And it just amazes me that there are some people out there that are so shitty that they're willing to treat others so horribly in this world, and that we let it happen because the system protects them. But to leave on a good note, there are some awesome people out there that are trying to really improve the world in their own environments. I should say improve their communities. People who are building intentional communities or things like that, that really have the hopes of improving the lives of at least a few people. You may not be able to change the whole world, but you sure as hell can change your own environment. Some people just call consistently and don't stop. Anyhow, those are my thoughts. That's all I got to say. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a wonderful day. Peace.